Marley, first of all, let's start with you. What are you exactly arguing in this report?
So we're basically arguing the asylum system is in crisis, and we think that the Illegal Migration Act is going to make things a lot worse. The concern is that the number of arrivals coming to the UK outpaces the number of removals pretty much under any scenario you've got in the next year or two. Even if the Rwanda plan is ruled lawful, just in practice, being able to remove that many people at scale, it's very unlikely. And so it's unlikely to have the deterrent effect that the government wants. And so what that means is that you've got this build-up of people effectively in limbo. They can't be removed, they can't have their asylum claim processed. They're basically just stuck in asylum accommodation, potentially in the undocumented population, working irregularly. And that's a real problem for the government.
Marley, we know that the government is trying to do other deals with other countries, and the PM said the number of those crossing, as Charlie just said, has reduced. The Home Office has told us today, when we put your report to them, it says we are also on track to clear the legacy backlog of asylum cases. It has been reduced by nearly a third since the start of December, and we have doubled the number of asylum decision makers in post over the past 2 years. So the government's saying it is making a difference.
Well, the problem is the government might be making a dent in the legacy backlog, but with this new Illegal Migration Act, it's going to create a whole new perma-backlog that we're arguing, which actually we won't be able to do much about because it's unlikely to be able to remove people at scale. They won't be able to be admitted into the asylum system, so you can't process people quickly because they're not allowed to be processed. And so they're basically just stuck, and that's the real concern we have. Just to say on Charlie's point, I think it's worth saying that the Home Office's own figures suggest that around 2/3 of people coming across the channel on a small boat, when their claims are processed, they actually are well-founded claims. They do get refugee status. So most people coming do have those well-founded claims. They're coming from countries like Afghanistan, Syria, Sudan, so on.
And Marley, let's just end on you. I mean, in your report, you say that the Rwanda scheme, I mean, you pan out some scenarios that do say that it still will be chaos even if the Rwanda scheme does actually turn out to be a reality. Just explain that briefly for me.
I think realistically, I think that the number of removals are likely to be relatively low, even if Rwanda's ruled lawful, just because Rwanda, it's been taking asylum claims in the hundreds, not in the thousands. And the UK itself isn't able to remove people at scale. I think 580 people, asylum claims were removed enforceably in the last year. So we're not talking in the thousands here. And frankly, on the deterrent effect, we haven't seen that so far. We've seen similar numbers coming so far to last year, maybe a slight reduction, but frankly it's more likely down to the weather than to do with anything the government's doing.
OK, we're going to have to end it there. Thank you so much both for coming on.